Hello gamers and gamerdads, welcome back to the channel. In the past few weeks, Sony's PlayStation division has raised prices on both subscriptions and hardware in many regions of the world, and imposed hefty fees on independent developers for store visibility. Actions that collectively remind me of Apple. So, in today's video, I will try to answer the question, why is PlayStation turning into the iPhone of video games? Before jumping into the video, I would like to talk about an important topic for me and the channel. According to my YouTube analytics, 95% of you viewers are not subscribed, and that includes returning viewers as well. I want to improve that by creating the best content possible for you guys, but that can be difficult if I don't know what you think. So if you like what you see or not, do me the favor of giving me feedback. A like, a dislike, a comment or a subscription if you feel like it. It doesn't matter as long as it points me in the right direction. Thank you. Now, back to the video. Let's start with the obvious, the user experience. Apple built a beautiful but walled garden for its users. It is very easy to get in and enjoy staying in thanks to an extremely polished experience on both the hardware and software side. Sony is trying to do the same with PlayStation. Thanks to a great user interface, which they kept improving over the years, coupled to a plethora of exclusive titles like God of War, Spider-Man, The Last of Us and others, but also building on the success of the PlayStation 4, which made a massive audience, create a huge digital library of games using the PlayStation Store, players have gotten used to and are now seemingly locked into the PlayStation ecosystem. And sure, we've seen some of the exclusive titles jump from PlayStation to PC, but they are usually months, if not years late at best. So Sony's message to its consumers is very clear. If you want to continue enjoying the PlayStation experience, you better stick to our ecosystem. Very Apple-like. Now let's talk about the product lines and pricing. Since the PlayStation 4, Sony started emulating the way Apple divides and even names its products. Like Apple iPhones, we had the base PlayStation 4 followed by the PlayStation 4 Pro. And we have the same pattern with this generation of consoles. The difference, however, is that while Apple almost never decreases the initial pricing of its iPhones, it doesn't increase them either. But Sony? Well, they increased the PlayStation 5 price after launch twice. Something we never saw in the gaming console space before. Even better, or worse, I don't know anymore at this point, the base all-digital PlayStation 5 Pro was released at an eye-watering $700. That is 55% more expensive than the base PlayStation 5 digital edition with its mere $450. Even Apple doesn't do that. The iPhone Pro is just 26% more expensive than the base iPhone. Not only that, Sony increased the price of all tiers of the PlayStation Plus subscription twice or even more depending on the region since the PlayStation 5 release. And don't even get me started on the pricing of the accessories. The DualSense Edge, $200 plus. The 3D Pulse headset, $100 plus. I mean, don't get me wrong, all the products I mentioned are of exceptional quality, but Sony seems to not even try to be accessible anymore. At this point they're almost printing money by selling prestige, just like Apple does. And why shouldn't they, given the seemingly bottomless acceptance of their users? Now let's talk about brand loyalty and the phenomena called fanboyism. Apple turned the iPhone into a cultural icon. Sony is doing the same with PlayStation. People trust PlayStation like they trust iPhones. Familiar, reliable, cool and enjoyable. It is no longer just a console, it is a status symbol. This textbook Apple strategy is certainly encouraged by the lack of competition, but is mainly enabled by the unwavering loyalty of the PlayStation fanboys. If you want to understand the fanboy phenomenon, I will put a link to a very interesting research paper on the topic in the description of the video. But in summary, the fanboy phenomenon is driven by strong social and psychological attachments to brands, where criticism is perceived as a personal attack and premium pricing is rationalized as part of one's identity. In short, Sony knows it did enough to own the minds of the fanboys and counts on them to defend the brand from wherever criticism comes its way, even after a price hike or a clear anti-consumer policy is introduced, which gives Sony total confidence to break from decades-old industry traditions. Why not increase PlayStation Plus subscription prices when you know your customers have no other choice if they want to play online or access old games? Why not increase console prices post-launch when you know your fanboys will keep buying them anyway? To be clear, this phenomenon is not limited to Sony, but this level of fanboyism is another similarity with Apple. I guess that fanboyism is okay as long as Apple and Sony continue to deliver great products. I am sure that some of you will argue that this fanboyism is precisely the result of the great products. Which came first, the egg or the chicken? I don't really care as long as both are healthy to consume. But my concern in this situation is that we are reaching a point where they are not. So, is the PlayStation the iPhone of gaming? Yeah, kind of. Sony is successfully building a premium and integrated gaming ecosystem with high brand loyalty and very limited flexibility. For PlayStation gamers, this probably means a slick, polished gaming experience based on quality hardware and software, but with much higher prices as this strategy continues. Will there be a limit to the high prices? Will Sony and PlayStation have the same longevity as Apple and iPhone? That will largely depend on the competition. And since Microsoft and Xbox have long thrown the towel, I guess console gamers will keep waiting for Valve's next move. Will Gabi finally announce the next generation of Steam machines? Could Valve finally bridge the gap between console and PC gaming? I, for one, hope they will. As final words, I just want to clarify that I am not a Sony or PlayStation hater. I own a PlayStation 5 and enjoy playing Sony's first-party games. You can watch my videos about God of War and Helldivers 2 if you need any proof of that. But I am also not a fanboy. I refuse to defend and will criticize any brand if I deem that it is getting too greedy. So as much as I might sound harsh in this video, rest assured that it comes from a place of love and benevolence. Peace.
The sun we hear it, the sun we feel it, the sun we bring it, the sun we share it.